can we honestly say that our problem is the British or the
No, the
colonialists?
British
Yeah,
created our problem.
and that problem subsists till
Succeed
today.
today. They were the one who now gave us a population figure that is at variance with all demographic factors we know in the world. In the world, anywhere in the world, towards the coast, the population
It's usually
increases,
every year.
but not Nigeria. The
Ah,
population increases to the desert.
where there are no forests,
No forest,
so they have more
irregular
people,
water supply,
and they have more
regular
people there
rainfall.
than
They
the
have
trade
more
of.
people there.
Part of the reason why we have this program is to let our children of today know what Nigeria we had before. We want them to know that we have a history, because right now Nigeria seems to have no history. The only thing they hear is I was asking someone now who said they taught them in political science classes, and all they taught them were the Abachas of this world, the Murtala Mohammed. They never mentioned Awolowo. One day I was preaching and I asked a young man. I said, "Who amongst you knows anything about Awolowo?" He said, "Awolowo. Is it the one that?" Well, Awolowo. We don't know. And I felt I
You are
cried.
right. That is the reality.
So which means so we want our history back. Even if we cannot recreate it, we can still retell the story and tell them. So now what was it like? What was the political scene like in Nigeria pre-colonial, during the colonial and post-colonial period? We mentioned a little bit about the post-colonial with what the Awolowo's were doing, but let's take back,
Pre-colonial,
yeah.
there was no Nigeria.
Okay.
There were lots of kingdoms.
Protectorates or what they call it.
Now, that was when the British came and started trading.
Okay.
The Royal Niger Company
That's like
owned
the
Nigeria, the one you call Liver Brothers,
okay, and
Unilever
UAC
now,
and
USA Group. It was from them that the British government purchased Nigeria. They bought
they bought
Nigeria
Nigeria.
from them. And then had the Western Protectorate, which was west of the Niger, from Asaba to Badagry. Eastern Protectorate from Onitsha to Calabar. Then they had the Northern Protectorate, anything above the confluence
In Lokoja.
or in Lokoja.
So
As a matter of fact, the headquarters was in Lokoja then.
so Ilorin wasn't part of the north originally
No,
because Lokoja is after Ilorin.
it's after Ilorin.
So was Ilorin part of the south western protectorate or whatever?
You see, we had a little problem because of the misbehavior of Apanja, who was the Arena Kokofu, who wanted to become independent of the Alafin. He had teamed with Alimi,
So it sold out.
sold out, and the Fulani had conquered Ilorin.
Ilorin.
That's why the Emir of Ilorin is still Fulani.
So originally Ilorin was a Yoruba settlement.
Was a Yoruba settlement. In fact, Oyo was not where it is now. Oyo was very far north, almost near the River Niger. Far
That's not
north.
the Oyo Igbo.
I think Oyo will be the second one. That was the first Oyo before.
Okay, now for the sake of Yoruba people, mo fẹ́ kẹ́ sọ rírà that part in Yoruba because this is key. You know, a lot of people. I don't know much of that story. I know that's why I can say Oregu and all that, but there are people who don't even know anything at all.
Ẹ̀rí
Tọ́ irú àwọn yẹn báwo lọ́yọ́ ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ dẹ́.
Yorùbá tóbi. Ṣẹ́rí ńgbà yẹn náà a kì í jẹ́ Yorùbá.
Okay.
A ní Empire Ọ̀yọ́. Kì í ṣe ibi tí wọ́n wà sí iná wa o. Ọ̀yọ́ kẹta náà wà yìí.
Ibo lọ́yọ́ àkọ́kọ́ wà?
Ó wà ó kọjá Bídàsókè.
Ní ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn tápà lọ́hùn.
Àwọn tápà gan-an gbà míì
ara wa ni wọ́n.
ara wa ni a máa ń káwọ̀ sí ẹ̀rẹ́ńtẹ́nà bá bá dẹ́kọ̀ ní tápà àwọn Òṣòdì gbogbo ẹ̀ tápà
ni wọ́n. Yes, mo rántí yẹn.
Àwọn tápà gan-an ní máa kọ́kọ́ wá Yorùbá.
Àwọn náà fún wa lórúkọ Yorùbá.
Àwọn náà máa ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀. Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀rà ni oníkálùkù lórúkọ tiẹ̀. Èkìtì ń jẹ́ Èkìtì, Ìgbónà, Ifẹ̀, Ìjẹ̀ṣà. Ṣùgbọ́n Ọ̀yọ́ empire yẹn ó kárí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀, kó kárí gbogbo Yorùbá o.
Tí ò ní administrative headquarters ló dàbí.
Kó kárí gbogbo Yorùbá o torí Ẹ̀gbá ò sí ní Ọ̀yọ́ empire Ìgbò ò sí bẹ́ẹ̀, àwọn ará kan lẹ́kìtì ò sí bẹ́ẹ̀, àwọn kan lákòókò ò sí bẹ́ẹ̀, Ìjẹ̀bú ò sí bẹ́ẹ̀. Ìbàdàn ni olórí ogun wọn. Àwọn ní máa lọ jagun fún wọn. Àwọn gan ló jẹ́ kí Ọ̀yọ́ empire ọjọ́bọ̀ olórí ogun àti ọba wọn ń gbèlú. Olórí ogun ti jókòó Ìbàdàn. Ìbàdàn gbogbo àwọn ọmọ tó lé káàkiri ilẹ̀ Yorùbá wọ́n dájọ́ sí Ìbàdàn. So Ìbàdàn gan Yorùbá ni. Ìyẹn ni òun ní adarí collection of all of us.
So gbogbo àwọn tí tó jẹ́ Yorùbá yẹn lọ ní ọmọ tó wá sí Ìbàdàn ṣá.
Ẹni tí ò jẹ́ kí àwọn Fúlàní overrun Òṣogbo ní 1842 Ifẹ̀ ni wọ́n ti lójú ẹ̀, Ìlọrin ni wọ́n bí sí.
Ẹni yẹn.
Wọ́n lóyún ẹ̀ màá rántí orúkọ ẹ̀ sí Balógun
Ọ̀dẹ́rìnlọ nìbàdàn yìí.
Ẹ bá déwájú Màpó ẹ rí ó gbẹ́yẹsẹ̀ jìkà báyìí.
Ó náà yà síbẹ̀ níbi ilé iwájú ilé yẹ́lò kan báyìí tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀.
Pé bàbá Ìfẹ́ ni ìyá ẹ̀, wọ́n ti lóyún ni wọ́n kúrò kan tó bí ni wọ́n ti kúrò lọ́ọ̀lọ́rin, wọ́n bí sí Ìlọrin. Nígbà tó dé Ìlọrin ó bá wọn papọ̀ mọ́ àwọn nígbà tó ń dàgbà pẹ̀lú àwọn Àfọ̀njá fighters. Nígbà tó wá rí i pé àwọn eléyìí Yorùbá náà bá jọ kúrò mẹ́, ó wá dúró sólúpọ̀nà.
Olúpọ̀nà ní Ìwó.
Nígbà tó dé Olúpọ̀nà ní ó ti tóbi ju bí yóò lè máa darí wá lórí ló wá wá Ìbàdàn. Ó di Balógun Ìbàdàn.
Balógun Ọ̀dẹ́rìnlọ tán sọ yẹn ìrìnàjò ẹ̀ nìyẹn.
Ìrìnàjò ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni gbogbo wọn ṣe rí. Kábíyèsí tó kú ní ìjẹta Lékan Balógun Ìwó ni.
Wọ́n tún pe ilé ọ̀nà Àlí Ìwó.
Bàbá kábíyèsí Akínbíyì ibì kan lọ́ṣun ni. Bó ṣe rí ni.
Mo pé Adétúnjì gan dà pọ́n àwọn náà ní àpalára àpòmọ̀ àbí nǹkan
bẹ́ẹ̀ agbọ̀ngàn. Gbogbo Ìbàdàn Yorùbá ni. Àwọn ní jagun fún Yorùbá, àwọn ní dáàbò bo Yorùbá.
Àná náà dẹ̀ lè dàrú táwọn fẹ́ dàrú.
Àwọn ní ò jẹ́ kí Fúlàní wọ Yorùbá gan. Fúlàní òun dáríjì òun dùn torí méjì di àwọn Yorùbá defeat Fúlàní, kò sẹ́ni tó defeat Fúlàní rí.
Àfi ìgbà tí Yorùbá fèsàn. Ìbàdàn ló dẹ̀ jẹ́ olórí ogun ìgbà yẹn.
Nígbà tó ń lọ Jálómi wọ̀ Ìbàdàn náà ni ìyẹn wà lára inú fíríjì wọ̀ wọ́n defeat Fúlàní. Fúlàní ò rẹ̀ tó defeat wọ̀nyí.
Tó máa wà ní ìsàlẹ̀ ọkàn pé àwọn èèyàn yìí.
Ní history wọn pé ẹni defeat wọn rí.
Ìfẹ́ ká mẹ́nu bọ̀rọ̀ àwọn Fúlàní ẹ̀ tó rà a lè má kúrò bẹ́ẹ̀ but bíìtì yẹn ibi tẹ́ ń sọ yìí ibi tí ìtàn wà gan ni tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ òye èmi gan ò gbọ́ tí Ọ̀dẹ́rìnlọ yẹn rí mi mọ̀ pé ó ṣe rìn àjò
ìyẹn ló máa ń jẹ́ gbà mí tó bá láwọn tí wọ́n ń bẹ̀rù ní Nàìjíríà Yorùbá ni. À ń torí pé dẹ̀ ni ogun jọ́ yẹn kì í ṣe ogun agbára, ogun ọpọlọ ni.
tí Yorùbá jàgbá yẹn
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
tó fi ṣẹ́gun àwọn Fúlàní.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
so ṣé a lè sọ pé Fúlàní ò fìgbà kan lè fẹ́ Yorùbá dénú.
tí wọ́n bá ti rántí jọ́ yẹn.
ikú tó pa.
nítorí pé wọ́n defeat wọn tí wọ́n lé wọn gan ni tó bá jẹ́ pé Ọ̀dẹ́rìnlọ ní instruction pé kó dé Ìlọrin ibi olórí ogun wọn 5 ló kú. When we were UPN opposition, Abba ní favour.
So we worked hard.
We dominated the banking industry.
Oh yeah.
We controlled the business. But see, I want to be, the Odutola factory, Adebowale electronic, kí wọ́n ti lọ, kí wọ́n bá dàn bí exide.
These young men, they won't know it. There was a time in Ibadan that you can practically put together a car.
Actually,
Exide battery, that's
Exide
isoglass or whatever.
Isoglass, T-brick glass,
Odutola tires.
Tires were made.
The leader was assembling.
Perodo wà ńbẹ̀ gbà yẹn.
On ṣe belt. Pad. In this Ibadan, I'm not saying Lagos.
Ìgbà tó ìbò wa.
Tọ́wọ́ ra.
Tí àwọn òyìnbó wá ra Nàìjíríà lọ́wọ́ tán fún wa bá ṣiṣẹ́ ìgbà tó di 1914 lọ́lùgá ní gọ́vùnà.
Okay. Is it Governor General náà pé ọmọ
ẹ̀ ọjọ́ tí di Governor General was the governor. Àwọn yòókù ní lieutenant governors.
Okay.
1954 la bẹ̀ sí ní Governor General.
So ibo ló náà gbèsè, where was it located? Ibo ni lọ́gàd wà ní.
Wọ́n wà ní Lọ́kọjà.
Okay, ibẹ̀ náà fi ṣe
headquarters wà. So wọ́n wá ní aláti pa Northern Protectorate.
Okay.
At East, at the West, South Africa, Nigeria. And the reason was simple. He said the South was wealthy, the North was poor. And the graphic distinction, he said, let there be a marriage between this lady of means, that was the South, and this poor man. And that's the problem of Nigeria today. So
the wealthy woman is married to a poor man. So the poor man feeds on him, on her.
Apart from that, there was an imagery.
So, Ibita work colonial, that's where we got into the colonial.
Yes.
Okay.
And the imagery of a man and a wife shows that the man in a male-dominated society is the boss. So the moment they call the North the man and call the South
the woman,
yes, you are rich, but you are expected to be submissive to your husband. And the reason why he did that was that he said the Southerners were not reliable, they were ungovernable, they were unmanageable. But that the North were compliant, submissive.
So we can look at it that now they robbed the South of what's the leadership position actually.
Yes,
so who have
and
been
they
the
used the money of the South
to prop up the South, the
North.
Then made North.
And so by the time they were going, they've had a House of Rep of 312 members, with the North having more members than the South.
So can we honestly say that our problem is the British or the
No, the British created our problem.
And that problem subsists
today. They were the one who now gave us a population figure that is at variance with all demographic factors we know in the world. In the world, anywhere in the world, towards the coast, the population
It's usually
increases,
heavy, yeah.
but not Nigeria. The
Ah,
population increases to the desert.
where there are no forests.
No forest,
So they have more
irregular
people,
water supply,
and they have more
regular
people there
rainfall.
than
They
the
have
total
more
population.
people there. And then you now look at Niger, Chad, which occupy the same bed with northern Nigeria. You don't have that
Population.
population. How can that of Nigeria be different? Simple. The British didn't trust the South. And they wanted
Why, if I may ask, why didn't they trust us? Because we're
they,
not governable, or because we're
they said
more adventurous?
they said it clearly, well, ungovernable, uncontrollable, and of course we're more educated in terms of wage education. Because King's College, CMS Grammar School, Hope Waddell started almost 200 years ago. The first doctor, first accountant, first architect, well,
From
all from
surgeon.
here.
Okay.
So they didn't like that.
Particularly the West or even the East.
Even the East. Because when the West was struggling and were pursuing education largely in Britain,
Yeah.
the East was competitive,
Okay.
was always trying to do or outdo the West. So they were facing America. Going to Lincoln, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
Howard, and
Okay.
so on. So they were also educated. And an educated man is not necessarily compliant. He's going to ask questions.
Oh yeah.
And the British didn't think they should ask questions.
The woman.
And there's a whole publication by Harold Smith on how they deliberately rigged the election pre-independence to make sure that the NPC won, and how they coerced Nnamdi Azikiwe to form an alliance with NPC rather than with Awolowo. So the British, they set up traps, booby traps for us. Of course, they will not say post-independence, we'll be independent since 1960. Why haven't we been able to correct this? Nobody wants to commit class suicide. So those who benefit
from the
from these inequalities,
and keep on enjoying it.
They don't want it to stop.
Now, okay, I know that we became a republic in 1963. Now we became independent in 1960. For the benefit of today's younger fellow, what was the difference between that when you became a republic and when we were just independent?
Okay. When we became independent, we had a governor general.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, effectively our head of state was either the Queen or the King of England.
Oh.
And he was being represented by the governor general.
In Nigeria, yeah.
He was
a white man, definitely.
He started as a white man, Sir James Roberts.
Okay.
Eventually handed over to Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, who was the governor general, because of the alliance between the NCNC and the NDC. So, but he was not head of government. The head of government was the prime minister.
Okay.
The governor general was like the British queen or king. Yeah, you still say the king's government. You still say the king's parliament, but it really has no effective control over them. So that was what we had. And at that time, our highest court was the Privy Council, which is a part of the House of Lords in UK. When we became independent in 1963, everything became domesticated. We still kept the same parliamentary system. Instead of governor general, we had a president who exercised only the powers of the governor general. It wasn't an executive president. It was a ceremonial president. was the head of state, but the head of government was the prime minister, who at that time was Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa.
So the one that takes decision, whose word is law, is the prime minister.
Is the prime minister.
The governor general was just president.
Just ceremonial.
Okay.
He will come and read the budget, which he didn't prepare. He will do a head of state, a state of the nation address, which was written by the prime minister.
So it's more like the boy of the prime minister.
Absolutely.
But
because the prime minister recommends who becomes the governor general. That was what we had.
It's tempting not to talk about the difference between parliamentary system and what's the executive presidency that we run now, so the executive president system. But I still wanted to land on because we are in the colonial era now.
Yeah.
So and we move gradually. After that period there was a civil war, then the civil war, then with the First Republic, Second Republic, Third Republic. And when in a way I've asked a question that situated your activities in the Second Republic.
Yeah.
But the First Republic I did not. We don't mention it, but I was going to ask
in the First Republic.
Yeah.
Largely.
So that's what took me to 60 and 63.
Yeah.
Now we became a republic. What is the difference, and what happened?
Well, majorly, we didn't have to go to the Privy Council. We ended up our own Supreme Court. We have our own Chief Justice. In everything, we were self-contained, if you like.
Okay.
We didn't have to go beyond Nigerian president. But there was a problem, and I think largely political intolerance and the booby traps that the British set.
Okay.
We've had a situation in which post-independence, the agency that controlled eastern Nigeria and Midwest Nigeria was in coalition with the NPC that controlled the north. In the beginning, the west was controlled by Action Group.
Okay.
Of course, by 62, they infiltrated the Action Group.
Who?
The north.
Okay.
And so the Action Group split
and this was before independence, or
was after independence.
Okay. 60.
So
how did they get in there into the Action Group? How did they infiltrate?
Well, it's there was a determination to crush the Action Group.
Okay.
Because they were, if you like, they were performing, they were doing well.
Yeah.
And
I mean, is it true that at a point the federal government was actually getting money from Western region?
Oh yes. Well, the South was richer. We were producing cocoa. We were the first or second largest producer of cocoa. We were the first or second largest producer of palm oil. We were doing rubber. The South was good. The West was okay. And the West was so okay that it has its own, if you like, embassies.
Was that why they wanted to infiltrate, and how did they do that? How were they succeeding?
Primarily, it was a fight against Awolowo.
Okay.
Harold Macmillan had come to Nigeria and said Awolowo was good enough to be prime minister in Britain. But yet the matriarch wasn't prime minister in Nigeria. And we understood that Sardauna was a royal man, second in command to the Sultan, was forced by Awolowo's activities to begin to go on campaign. He said, can you imagine me talking to these Talakawas? Now I have to go around, see the doors and all of that because Awolowo took the campaign to the north. So they never forgave him. And he was targeting what he called the feudal system of the north. The feudalism, the emirate system that made some people rich and a larger
Poor.
poor.
So will it be right to say that he was bent on destroying the feudal system so that
Absolutely.
you can't work
He said it repeatedly. And
Ah,
of course, if you wanted free education for everybody, then you are already
you're
destroying
destroying
the
that.
foundation.
Yeah.
It means
Everybody becomes equal.
everybody become educated. And because they become educated, you cannot enslave them. So they never really liked him.
Okay.
So they looked at how can we weaken him. The part they did was that they alleged he was staging a coup. So before then, they had probed his government
Now,
pre-independence.
so this was before the Akitola, Awolowo Imboglo, before all that. They've
It was
already targeted him.
it was the cause of the how will I call it, the crisis between the two of them.
Okay.
They focused on Akintola. Akintola was premier, or no leader of the party. Sadana was premier, but leader of the party.
Okay.
Okpara was premier,
Also the leader.
also leader of the party.
In the East, right?
So it was easy to begin to work on his psyche. And if you know also that the Ogbomoshos had always, even now, interacted more with the North. Jos, that area,
Yeah, I mean, they live in
Kano,
just a lot.
and so on. So it was easy to begin to create a crack. Unfortunately, too, the younger generations started emerging in the Ashoku. You know, it was no longer the days of Sunibare, Madam Monsi. They were already old people. So the younger ones, Obatoni Hanahu, Obola Ike, Yakande, were already taking over. And they were already having the intellectual think tanks of the Odumusus, Oluwasami, Aboyade, Mabugunje, Akintoye, and so on. So Achegbu had now come to a conclusion that they were a socialist party, practicing what they call democratic socialism. So Akintola was not in that generation of the younger people, but he was second in command.
Okay.
I was listening to and believed in the concept of democratic socialism, which was not particularly palatable to Akintola and his group. So the ideological conflicts started surfacing. All of this made it possible to have an ego. You could now play on the ego.
So
You are premier,
at this
you are not
point,
leader of
at this point, we're already post-colonial.
post-colonial.
So we're kind of doing self-rule.
Yeah. So we
1963.
broke in the West. And when we broke in what I would call an orchestrated crisis in the Western House of Assembly, only one member started jumping off. There's fire on the mountain. The federal government, controlled by the ACNC and MPS, declared state of emergency.
For the Western region.
Western region, and sent the special doctor of the prime minister as the sole administrator
Dr. Manjakodon of the Prime Minister.
of the Prime Minister. So he came to do specific job.
I swear to God. Because
So they started probing Awolowo. They said he was guilty, or whatever they said he was guilty of. In the course of that, they said he was planning to stage a coup. They got him to 10 years in prison. He and the top leaders of the action. Of course, the others got scared. They teamed up with Akintola to form a party they called the United People's Party. So when Majekudumi finished his 6 months, it was no longer to hand over to an action group government. It was to hand over to a coalition of the NCNC led by Fani Kayode and Akintola.
And these Fani Kayode and Akintola were AG people originally. Okay. Akintola was the deputy. Okay.
And in the course of that, Akintola and Fani Kayode outsmarted the NCNC.
Okay.
Because actually, the ambition of the NCNC was to control the whole of the South.
Okay.
They were already in eastern Nigeria. They were in the Midwest. They thought if they formed an alliance with Akintola against Awolowo, eventually they would take over.
What made it impossible for them to do that?
Was that Akintola appealed to the Yorubaness in the NCNC, the Akiposile, Olopoyekus, Fani Kayode, and got them to agree to form a new party.
Rather than being part of NCNC.
Yeah. So they all became NNDP. So the ambition of NCNC never got realized.
Because of that NNDP.
Because of that NNDP.
So,
and NNDP now decided to ally with MPC.
MPC is the Northern People's
Congress.
The
Northern People's Congress.
Okay. The NCNC is the one for the East.
From the East.
Where Zik was.
Where Opera at that time. So they now find a situation in which the NCNC was forced to begin to work with the diminished action group. So they now form what they call OBGA, United People's Grand Alliance. But they went into the 64 election, the NNA, which was now NNDP, plus MPC, they called themselves Nigeria National Alliance. They won the election. And eventually negotiated with the NCNC to form a new government. So the action group was out in the court.
So technically, at that point, Akintola and Fani Kayode were out of AG.
Oh, completely out of AG.
So they were serving their own interests.
Yes.
They worked against Awolowo at that point.
At that point. Awolowo had been to prison. Naho, and a number of them, I think Jakande and the others, were sent. So the people of the West now thought, well, there'll be an election in 1965.
So wait for
Akintola time will have elapsed. We wait for it. And they use that to reinstall action group. And of course, at that time, Ogunde was a huge campaigner. Hubert Ogunde, the dramatist, the singer. Agbe Baba Bo, Ibo Temi, Ibo Tire, Agbe Baba Bo. They had all of that. Akedaro had also his own song. So everybody was working with so much enthusiasm, believing that once they did the election,
AG will
Action
run.
Group will come back, Aula will be released from the prison. Then the election was rigged. And the Action Group was
Lost.
said to have lost.
Okay.
And the people trooped into the street fight. There
Well,
was complete breakdown.
so that was
There was disorder.
is that the Wild West?
Wild West. That's where it came from. People were being slaughtered, houses were being burned, vehicles were being destroyed. There was really enough excuse to have a state of emergency. But
So
because the MPC and Abubakar Tafawa Balewa were the mentors, if I say, or the patrons of Akitola, they didn't declare it. It was that riotous situation that gave birth to the coup.
so basically, the coup wouldn't have happened if the West was calm.
If the West was calm, there would have been no coup. There would be no excuse. So the coup came.
That was 1966.
1966 January. Unfortunately, the Prime Minister lost his life.
Okay.
The larger-than-life Minister of Finance, Kucheba, lost his life.
Okay.
The Premier of Western Region,
Akitola.
SLA Akitola, lost his life, and a number of other Yorubas. Unfortunately, too, even within the army, there were more Yorubas who died than perhaps the Northerners.
Okay.
There was Brigadier Inde and the wife killed in Kaduna, and so on like that. So, with no Igbo losing their life in the coup, what was not an Igbo coup became seen as an Igbo coup. Because there were some Yorubas in the planners of the
Okay.
Adegboyega,
Okay.
they were involved. But because the coup failed, and killed more Yorubas and Northerners, and not one, particularly one Igbo man. And two, because Ironsi eventually took over.
Okay.
And unfortunately promulgated the unification decree that dissolved the regions
To come together.
and unified Nigeria. And which the Igbo saw as the opportunity of dominating Nigeria. A unified teaching service would mean, instead of the North feeling its own deficit in teaching staff with Arab people from Egypt and so on,
Okay.
it doesn't have to come from the Southeast. So in judiciary, so in civil service. All of that led to a revenge. May 29, Araba, and the eventual second coup of July 29.
And that effectively puts to
And
then
the First Republic and the civilian
government for that period. So the republic finished, right? And then that was the moment the military came in. Now, okay, now, did the military do any service to the country? I mean, there was civil war. Maybe we should just talk about that. That led to, was that coup that led to the civil war?
Yeah, it was the coup and the counter coup that led to the
civil war.
Because the counter coup also destroyed the leadership. It killed General Runsi.
Okay.
Of course, killed the governor of Fadi here.
Was killed in Ibadan,
yeah. And a lot of people all over. Of course, if the coup had removed the head of state, the next in line in the military setting should take over.
Yeah.
That was Brigadier Ogudipe.
I didn't want to.
Brigadier Ogudipe was confronted with the reality of his incapacity when he saw a cop, what they call them, a recruit,
Mm.
and he gave him an instruction. And the man looked at him and said, until I hear from my captain. So the man realized if he stayed around, he was also a gunner.
Now, this encounter was between him and a Hausa man or what?
Yes. And as a matter of fact, they wanted to succeed because the word was Alaba.
The North.
Alaba means let's go home.
That's the North wanted to
Yes.
succeed.
And they would have succeeded.
So it wasn't the issue of secession didn't start with the East.
No, in fact, that's the second time the North wanted to succeed.
When was the first time?
1953.
Why?
When the action group, through Anthony Nahuru, moved the motion for Nigeria to be independent in 1956,
Yeah.
the North walked out.
They didn't want to be independent.
No. To placate the South, they gave us local government, what they call it, free. We could run our own government in the East and in the West then. As a matter of fact, the North said they were going. Awolowo and Zik had to go to the North. It led to the 1953 Kano riot.
To beg them or what?
To beg them. They said
Not to
no,
go.
wanted to go. So it took the manipulation of the.
With the benefit of hindsight now, will you have been better if they left?
Perhaps we would have been better. Perhaps we would have been.
Because nobody talks about that 1953, right?
Yeah, everybody.
He's talking about the East.
No, nobody
trying to
ever talks
secede.
about the attempt, two attempts by the North to secede.
One was 53, and then the other one was when?
Was 60. What was it?
Was it after the
66.
after the coup? After the coup.
Yes. It was the British High Commissioner and the American ambassador that persuaded General Mohammed. It wasn't General, there was Colonel, he was the leader of the coup.
Yeah.
He said, and as a compromise, okay, we'll give you a northerner. That's how Yakubu Gowon became head of state.
So in other words, even after independence, the British still have hands in our, the foreigners still have hand in our government. They are still influencing
They
things.
still subtly influence us.
Up to now.
Up to now. Oh, there was a time, I think under Jonathan, American government organized a workshop for all northern governors in the US.
What though?
And a lot of people believe that was where they planned to remove Jonathan
was arched. But then we haven't gullibly fell for. I mean,
and of course,
everybody believed that the government was so bad. Of course, there was corruption and all that. Let's face it, there was a lot of
corruption that we've seen after Jonathan makes Jonathan a saint. But you see, Jonathan was not in the good way of Obama.
Why?
Obama wanted the LGBT.
Oh, LGBT, whatever.
Endorsed in Nigeria. But the National Assembly passed a definitive anti-gay, anti-lesbian, anti-transgender act. And pressure was put on Jonathan not to sign it, but he signed it. And that was why Obama, in all his states, saw Jonathan as an enemy. He visited Africa and avoided Nigeria. So it's one of the unforgivable sins
of Jonathan.
But of course, because Jonathan was not a typical Nigerian politician.
Yeah.
Was a humane one who didn't want anybody to lose his life for his ambition. And there were people, including the present president, who had their own scheme. We had to get a northerner there for me to get there. So they demarketed Jonathan.
So
I
much.
remember President Tinubu, now he is, calling Jonathan a drunken fisherman. That's what he called him. And they,
Now, let me. This is this. Are you saying this because you are PDP or you are PDP?
no, because I'm a social scientist. I'm telling you the truth. When I do interviews, I forget political party because we have to help Nigeria. We have to understand the intricacies of where we got it wrong.
Now, how come at that point people like you did not talk? Maybe will have been changed. The trajectory will have changed,
The PDP itself committed an error.
which was
When the PDP was formed in 1998 to 99,
yeah.
there were two principal things we agreed on.
Okay.
Power must shift, power must rotate. If it is in the north, it must come to the south, and from the south back to the north. Because as at 1999,
yeah.
the northerners have ruled Nigeria for 28 years,
Including
either civilian and military.
Okay.
So everybody felt it was the turn of the south. And because Awolowo, who was the best president we never had, and Abiola, who won the free and fairness election, never became president, the passion, the view led the West to it.
Okay.
So the West did 8 years and they left.
And you mean Ambassador?
Ambassador. That meant the South.
Okay.
So it has to go to the North. Because as at 2006, 2007, the most prominent people in the field were Udili
Peter Odili.
and the governor of Cross Rivers,
Duke.
Duke.
Donald Duke. Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't a northerner. But because PDP must obey its own cardinal principle, it was taken to the north.
And
That was
Ambassador donated
Yeah.
Moruyaga because practically was there any primary?
Well, there was primary.
But everybody knew was
That's the weakness of the party. The governor is the leader of the party. The president is the leader of the party. So they do what they want and they get what they want done. So when Umayyad got there and died after 2
still up to 2 years.
years, Jonathan from the south completed those 2 years.
Okay.
Properly, in accordance with his doctrine, PDP should now take a northern person again.
Oh.
But they didn't, because the president is the leader of the party.
Okay.
So he installed himself as a candidate.
That's Jonathan.
Yeah. And won. Did another 4 years, making 6. At that point, we had already eroded into the northern entitlement. Jonathan now wanted another term, what he called his own second term.
Okay.
That would have made it 10 years. The North said no. So the Northerners in PDP could not stand up to Jonathan because of the enormous power he had as president and leader of the party.
And the money.
So they surreptitiously worked with
APC.
Actually, in forming the APC, there was ACN of Tinubu,
Okay.
there was CPC of Buhari, there was the remnant of APC, there was
APC. No.
of APP.
APP. Okay.
Yeah. Because after the CPC
APC,
left them,
okay.
there was a remnant.
Of APP.
They joined, the 3 of them Then 5 governors
from PDP.
and a former Vice President Atiku, they called themselves the new PDP. They left because they believed the PDP ought not to be fielding a southern candidate again. And I believe they were right. So if the PDP did not commit itself to its principle of returning the presidency to the North after 2 years and allowed Jonathan
To run.
to have another 4 years, it was immoral for them to want the North again. So, and because Nigeria believed, okay, South, 8 years, Obasanjo,
Jonathan.
North,
Oh,
2 years, Yar'Adua, South, Jonathan, 6 years. This is not fair. We all voted for Buhari.
Can we say, okay, the recurring decimal is this 5. There were 5 governors that put out with Atiku
Yes.
to support APC and make it.
But later too,
now another 5 governors
put
worked
out
against
him.
Atiku. Okay, so
And why was that?
yeah,
Because after 8 years of Buhari, it
That
should
should
be the
be-
South.
now again
Atiku PDP says, let it be North. That is breaking their own cardinal principle. The
So
Catholic will call it an original sin.
Will you say that PDP shot itself on the feet?
Absolutely, they killed themselves.
Okay. Well, can I know I try not to get into politics, but I don't see how I cannot get into politics when I'm talking with you. Are you still in PDP?
I believe that PDP broke its own rules.
No, that's not my question.
I'm coming. And because it broke its own rules, I'm an ideological person in politics.
Okay.
I believe in equity, I believe in justice, I believe in fairness, and I believe in sticking to your own principle. So when they did that, I left.
So where are you now?
Nowhere. I have reached a situation in which I find that all the political parties are two sides of the same coin.
So will you then adopt late Chief Bola Ige's the 5 fingers of leprosy or whatever I do?
Yeah, 2 fingers or more than 2 fingers of the same leprous hand.
Because
but unlike him, I will not sit down.
Okay.
I will talk.
Okay.
So
we will get to him because
I talk.
Will you say is sit down look causes wahala
as an analyst?
Okay. No longer.
And as an analyst, you have to be objective.
Okay.
In this business of power, objectivity, fairness, impartiality are the principle. Otherwise, you lose credibility with the people. Now, and I want to have credibility all the time with the people.
I do not see how we can finish without. We haven't even started, as far as I'm concerned. I haven't touched all the areas I wanted to touch. But let's go back to that PDP thing. That was very, very insightful, and it elicits so much that it exposes so much of what people don't know. The story of the Jonathan, the principle of PDP. Now people are seeing PDP, and the likes of Dele Momodu, I'm sorry I have to mention names, will want to believe that up till, I don't know if he believes up till that, Atiku should really run. But you are saying now that if PDP were to follow its principle, in 2023, a southerner should have been a candidate. And the argument was that having run for 1.5 terms, Jonathan, and with Obasanjo's 8 years, that will make 14 years, that the North didn't really make enough, that the South had so much, that it should be the North.
Absolutely.
But from your analysis
you see
now,
the problem of those people, they are being dishonest.
The Dele Momodu of this.
Yes. The agreement of PDP was not on candidates. It was that government will rotate between the North and the South. It didn't say PDP government. It didn't say APC government.
Any government.
Any government. If the North does 8 years, then the South must do 8 years.
Whether it was
Whether it
PDP
is
or
a-
any or
any
LP or any party that
this,
won.
and the reason is because in the kind of economic we have, in a kleptocratic society, uh, if your own man is not there, you are not sure you will get anything.
So it's better to let him get
So
there.
we will get to a situation in this country, I hope, we will not mature. It won't matter where you come from.
You will just
We will trust that you will do justice
you
to
have merit.
everybody.
Okay.
When Buhari was there, we all complained he was doing fulanization
Okay.
and Dauranization of appointments.
So
Now
you
that
need to
Tinubu
put
is
it-
there,
it's-
people are saying he's doing
Legalization and Yoruba
But this is in obedience with what the Yoruba say. Tẹ bá fún wèrè lọ́kọ́, á ró sí ara ẹ̀. But there will be a
and the
time
other one side sorry
tẹ́ẹ̀ ní
to láti pa òwe wájú yín wọ́n ní ọmọ ní olè ṣe ní bẹ̀bẹ̀rẹ̀ ká filẹ̀ kẹ́sì jẹ́ lómìíràn.
But we going to reach a time tá à ní fún wèrè lọ́kọ́ mọ́.
Àti bí bẹ̀bẹ̀rẹ̀ it will not be applicable.
It won't be applicable.
Okay.
But we haven't reached that level. That was why we insisted that we must rotate government. Because I was one of the founders of PDP. I led the 5th group. There were 5 groups that formed the PDP.
What are these groups?
And all the 5 groups have nothing in common. There was ANC, led by Awoniyi and Awoniyi. There was PDM, led by Isakaita.
Okay.
There was SPP, led by Solomon La. There was PNC, led by, oh my God, Alex Ekweme.
Okay.
There was PCF, led by Bola Ige. Then there was the new breed, the younger one, my generation, myself, Agagu, Bodiola. No, Bode wasn't there then. Tunde Adeniran, this Agoiwoye, former minister, we younger ones, we were called new breed.
Okay.
So we were the 6th group and formed this party and said government must rotate. The North are dominated for 28 years. It wasn't one party now. It wasn't one military government. It was succession of them. So what we want is, first there will be a power shift in 1999 from the North to the South. And thereafter, there will be rotation of governments. We didn't say
of parties.
No, government. And
now, but maybe the likes of Dele Momodu, because he wasn't there.
They were not there. All of them.
They didn't know. So
all of them parading the streets were not there.
So it's going to be right now to say that those ones didn't know about PDP. Will you therefore say somebody like Chief Bode George was right to say to have the looks like sharing the same position with you as per how it started? But will it be right to say he's right by saying that PDP and the Iroko tree is still alive?
Yeah, PDP is still alive.
Okay.
But they have to learn to do the right thing.
So if they did the right thing today, will you be back there?
No, I have reached a stage now to show myself as a statesman.
Okay.
I want the best for the country. Actually, I want the best for PDP, but because PDP refused to listen to point of reason, because those who didn't know about the party started ruling the party. The first error we all made. Obasanjo is a very good man. He didn't know about PDP. He didn't know how we formed PDP.
You made him a candidate.
We made him a candidate. He took over without understanding the underlying philosophy of the party.
So it's like you made a stranger a king.
Exactly. So, but he kept to the rule
of the party
of rotating.
Okay.
Then we rotated. Gave it to Mayadua. God intervened. Unfortunately, and a good man died. You know, it took time to get Jonathan there.
Yeah, I mean,
We have to
you see,
implement doctrine of necessity.
but
All Nigerians.
this Tinubu and co also fought then.
That's what I'm
Saying,
saying.
okay,
There is something about Nigeria that is not political. That's what the PDP is not understanding.
which is,
In 2015, all Nigerians thought, no, don't shoot the north. Take the power there. When it was Jonathan say, how can Yadua die now? You will not make it deputy. You now want to go and bring somebody to replace Yadua.
No.
It is not done. Let him do it. All Nigerians, irrespective of party,
agreed on that.
Buhari came out of that wave. And the emergence of Tinubu has nothing to do with individual quality. But everybody thought, after 8 years of the North, South must have it. We may reach a stage where it will matter. But not now. We are not yet there. We are not yet politically sophisticated or developed.
Okay.
But PDP can revive itself. It might not be against next election because they need a lot of work to be able to revive the national executive, the national working committee, the trustee, restore faith in the hearts of even the common people that they will do justice by them.